It is a nice pre-Christmas haul here for you guys, so hopefully you enjoy this. And without further ado, let's get into this video. Hey guys, it's Mandak coming at you with another haul video. So welcome into haul video 175. So yeah, another anniversary issue or anniversary number of the haul videos here for you guys. So exactly 25 more haul videos away from 200. But anyways, hope you guys are having a great day, week, month, year. Um, Currently filming this haul video a couple days before Christmas. Hopefully I will have it uploaded before then too. But yeah, hope you guys are having a great day. Um, got a couple of things to go through here today, so have a little bit of comic stuff and some Lego to cover as well. So wanted to get this haul video in just because Christmas is coming up, and I usually like to save kind of like my Christmas haul for a separate video. Um, I usually don't get like a lot of comics and Lego on Christmas, but I just like showing kind of what I received for Christmas as just like a extra bonus video for you. But yeah, anyways, we will get going here with this video, starting as always with the comics. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning back into this part of the video. So this is the comic section for haul video 175. So as I always do, I like to talk about what I've been reading since the last time I saw you guys. So as I mentioned on my last haul video, I believe I went through all my Fantastic Four stuff. I talked about all that. So now I'm officially in the read-throughs of Spider-Man, which is going to be the shortest one because I've read pretty much most, if not all, of my Spider-Man collection. We have Star Wars, and then we have Avengers, which will definitely be the longest of all of them, I believe. Between that and Star Wars, they're both going to be pretty long read-throughs. But yeah, anyways, really enjoying all three of those. So I'll get us kicked off here with some stuff I've been reading on the Spider-Man front. So I read a lot of my Spider-Man, the remainder of my Spider-Man material that I had at the time back in early 2022. This was after I saw No Way Home with my wife. Well, she wasn't my wife at the time, but my current wife. But yeah, so I was pretty caught up with Spider-Man. Like I've read up to like Maximum Carnage, and then like even after that, like Return of the Sinister Six and like the Spider Slayers. I even read like the Spectacular Spider-Man omnibus. So I actually kicked back off my read through of Spider-Man by reading the Clone Saga Epic Collection. So for anyone who knows, the Clone Saga is this massive crossover storyline that goes pretty far back, actually, like back to like the 70s when the first Clone Saga appeared. This was like right after Gwen Stacy died. And it was a famous storyline by Jerry Conway. But anyways, they did create an epic collection for the Clone Saga that is literally called the Clone Saga. And it doesn't cover the entire saga. So if you're curious about reading it, Marvel Unlimited, and I'm sure you can find it online too, has a whole reading order that you can actually dive right into and read it. So that's really great that those resources are out there. But yeah, this is kind of the first section of like the 90s era of the Clone Saga that picks kind of pretty much back up from where it left off in like the late 70s with Jerry Conway and that run and that storyline. But yeah, this was pretty good. Also we get introduced to Ben Reilly in this Epic Collection, the Scarlet Spider. Obviously, the cover of the Epic Collection shows Ben Reilly's character, the Scarlet Spider. And I actually kind of I'll say this is the first time of me reading this stuff, but I actually do like the origins of like Ben Riley's name. Like Ben is obviously in homage to Uncle Ben, and then Riley is actually in homage to Aunt May's maiden name. So I thought that was kind of clever that they gave him that name. But yeah, as we go through this, pretty much most of this epic collection, and even the next one that I'll talk about shortly, um, Aunt May is pretty much in a coma for most of this story. So like she's kind of knocked out, and like there's a lot of stuff like Mary Jane kind of leaving because Peter Parker kind of adopts this like different persona of like the spider. Like he kind of like disassociates himself from like reality and kind of just has this whole thing. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff that goes on with this epic collection. I'll also talk about the next one here, which is Web of Life, Web of Death epic collection. And I guess the reason why I'm talking about both of them is they both kind of follow up on each other. Um, but yeah, this one I don't actually physically own this epic collection, so I actually did end up just downloading these issues and reading them on Marvel Unlimited, which I never mind because that saved me probably $30 of money that I spent. So quick aside, I will say like over the course of this year, like with some of the holes I've had in my collection, rather than going out and buying the epics for like 35, 30, $40, whatever they cost now, I've been able to read them digitally, which like I said, I think I've more than paid back my cost of my Marvel Unlimited membership, which is like I think $65 a year. So again, this is my usual PSA for that service. Like if you're looking to get into comics, you don't have the space or the money for comics right now, definitely would recommend Marvel Unlimited. You save money buying the annual membership. And again, you can read anything Marvel. You can download them onto your device to read later offline. So again, can't recommend that enough. If you're looking to get into comics and you don't want to spend the money, the entry fee for comics, because it is expensive. I'm not gonna lie, as I've gotten married and we've been trying to do other things with our lives. I've definitely cut back a lot on the physical media that I've been purchasing for comics, unless it's something I really want for my collection. But anyways, yeah, was able to read this whole epic collection digitally, which was great. A lot of interesting stuff. I don't remember if it's the prior one or this one where we have this whole storyline where basically like the shit, what's his name? Um, the oh my god, I can't remember what the name of the like the monster is that like actually clones Gwen. I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments. But anyway, he creates another clone of Gwen Stacy, and we get this whole, I don't know if that's, I can't remember if that's the Web of Life or Web of Death storyline, but one of them has like him bringing her back to life. We have a lot of stuff with Kane. He kind of is like this like character that's kind of boiling in the background and kind of comes to a little bit of a head with this storyline. But yeah, like I said, I know there's more to read of this. Like that's, I don't think I finished it obviously, but um, I don't know. I don't think I'm in too crazy a rush to revisit it anytime soon. But if they do release another Epic collection with like mapped contents, I may read that. But I'm not really crazy rush to read it right now. I'm kind of in that vein where I'm like, unless there's a book out for it, like I don't really want to like read it because it won't count towards my collection, and I want to make sure I can get the contents mapped out perfectly, page numbers, all that stuff. So we'll see. Um, but yeah, I thought those were really cool, really good. Like those are like kind of the last two pieces of like the volume one material that I haven't read yet that I currently own or care to read. So yeah, at this point I've pretty much read most, if not all, of like volume one of Spider-Man. there's really not many gaps, if any, that I have. Um, and it's been a long process. Like, I started reading Spider-Man. Um, I want to say the first time I read Spider-Man, like Volume 1, was back in 2012. And I was reading those, like, they had these, like, newspaper, like, re-release, like, floppy comics that had, like, half of an issue. And I actually brought, like, all those down with me to the beach one year in 2012, and I read those. And I just got hooked to Spider-Man. And then I bought, like, an essential volume. I started reading those. I read through all that stuff, and then got to the Epic Collections, and then sold my essential volumes, and then upgraded to Omnibus. So it's been a journey for Spider-Man. Um, so yeah, it's really been good so far. So that's kind of where I've been at for Spider-Man. And then Avengers stuff. So Avengers wise, I did go back and fill in some gaps from Volume 1 that I've had. And the furthest one back that I had was the Avengers The Evil Reborn Epic Collection. So this is David Michelinie. I don't know. I know some people pronounce it different. Michelinie, whatever. George Perez is doing some art on this. I think Bob Layton did some stuff too, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, this is kind of the era of this book. I was very hesitant to get this Epic Collection because there's a lot of crossover here with like some other stuff that is in my collection, like most notably the Miss Marvel stuff, because this Epic includes Avengers Annual number 10, which has the very infamous storyline of Miss Marvel giving birth to her son, and then like going off with him to live in some other dimension. A very, very weird storyline. It's codenamed something else, which I don't feel comfortable saying here on my channel, but obviously you can go look it up. It was a very big black eye in Marvel's history, and I remember watching a video about it, and even the creators of the book did not want to write this storyline. I think it was pressure from editorial that pushed this story through, and you can tell that Marvel knew they screwed up, because I don't know how many years later in Uncanny X-Men Annual, I think, is where they go back and they like retroactively fix that storyline, and kind of put Miss Marvel back into a place, and Carol Danvers as a character as well, back into a place where she, can be like seen as a good, like not as a good character, but like as a, I guess, a respected character, and like as like, not full of this drama and this controversy, right? So, and I think that's when she becomes binary and then joins the X-Men for a little bit, and then slowly goes off and does her own thing. But anyways, I'm getting off track. But anyways, this Epic Collection, it's very much like early 80s stuff. It's very thick in dialogue in some places, but I do like David Michelinie's like storytelling, like obviously coming from like Iron Man and stuff like that. Like I really like his storytelling, and I think he understands the characters. But yeah, there's some stuff going on here, and then we also, so that was that Epic Collection. I mean, it's like I said, it's the furthest stuff back that I haven't read yet, so that was good to refill that Epic, or that gap I had. And then there was also some stuff that I had to jump ahead to and read. So the next Epic Collection I read was Avengers The Gathering Epic Collection. So this is your leather jackets, stuff like that. I honestly, it's been a little bit since I've read this epic, but we get a lot of stuff going on here with Cersei and Dane Whitman. That's kind of the premise of this, is like kind of like eternal stuff, and Cersei's kind of possessed, because we're still in this era where like this weird love triangle going on. Like Dane Whitman loves Crystal, but at the same time, like Cersei has this like connection with Dane, like an internal like eternal like connection thing type of stuff going on. They it is named something in the book, but I forget. It's sort of like a P. I can't remember. Um, but yeah, that quickly gets resolved because like this whole thing happens where like Cersei and Dane end up going into like a separate dimension together, and then Crystal ends up back with Quicksilver, which kind of pisses me off. And then we have Luna there as well. So um, yeah, like I said, it's 90s Avengers, so you know your mileage may vary. If you're a completionist like me, you want to read it. I definitely think it was a very quick read. Like it's very action packed. We're getting into the era now where sometimes the panels are flipped the opposite way on the page. So like that happened a couple times in this book where like the panels were the other way, like they were like going horizontally across the page versus vertically. I don't know. I hope I made sense there. But anyways, so yeah, that one was kind of interesting. The next one I read after that was um, Avengers Taking Aim Epic Collection. So this one also had some double dipping. This has double dipping with the Captain America storyline from like I think the Twilight's Last Gleaming Epic Collection with Captain America. So this includes I think the storyline where he kind of wears like the armor and then goes down to like South America or somewhere, Mexico, and like fights Baron Strucker with like the help of like some other American characters, which I can't remember their names, even though I read it last year. But there were like these two, like a young man and then a woman who both took over like roles. Like they're kind of like Captain America's sidekicks. I can't remember what they're called though. Um, but yeah, this one is, you know, again, just some more like 90s stuff. There's one plot point that I thought was kind of interesting in this book, and it was like this like scene where like Black Widow's inside like the Avengers mansion with Captain America, and she like looks at him while he's sleeping and like starts to like fall in love with him or something. And then that plot point never really gets picked up anywhere for the rest of the book. And I'm like, okay. Not that I really shipped them anyways, but like I thought that was kind of weird that like that one scene, I was like, what the hell is this? But um yeah, anyways, I thought that was interesting there. So that's my Avengers read through there. I also did bring some West Coast Avengers stuff with me too, because you know, I was thinking about it. I'm like, you know, should I read West Coast Avengers um after I read all the main Avengers stuff? And I realized that's probably not the best path. Like I want to read like the oldest stuff first and kind of bring myself up to modern day. Because of obviously Avengers, West Coast Avengers kind of leads into Force Works, and then obviously that Force Works and Avengers and Iron Man and War Machine all kind of come together in the crossing. So I wanted to have some backstory to that, like how the West Coast Avengers evolved into Force Works, which that is my plan. Like my plan is to continue my Avengers read through, and then also continue my West Coast Avengers read through into Force Works, and then once I'm into Force Works, then I'll just be reading the rest of the Avengers stuff through to current day here. But yeah, I did read. So it's interesting. You can probably see them behind me over here. Yeah. I have my West Coast Avengers stuff is really weirdly organized. Like I have like 5 Marvel Premiere Classics of West Coast Avengers, and then I have 2 Panini Press books, which are like the 2 little small books there, which I actually may end up selling. I'm probably just gonna read those digitally because I rather read them on like a larger screen rather than like straining my eyes having to read like a really small like digest size book. And then after that, I have a bunch of like random like paperbacks that are all mismatched in spines that cover the rest of the Avengers West Coast stuff. So because at a certain point it gets renamed from West Coast Avengers to Avengers West Coast. Don't ask me why they changed that. But anyways, I read the first Marvel Premiere Classic, which was the West Coast Avengers Assemble, which has the original miniseries, and then a bunch of like Avengers tie-in stuff. Like there's an Iron Man annual in there, which I already read, which kind of covers some stuff with Goliath. Um, so really, this was a quick read for me because I've read all that surrounding material. Um, the only thing I haven't really read actually was the 4-issue miniseries. So I did end up reading that. I thought that was really solid. I really liked the writing in that. Um, I forget what the name of like the main character was, but he was like the blank. I think it was like the blank space or something like that. Like that was the main hero or the main villain. And then you also had Graviton. I can't remember which one it is, but he's a recurring villain for the West Coast Avengers. I'm actually still reading West Coast Avengers, and surprise, he shows up yet again. So, um, and it's funny because he even shows up he shows up multiple times in Thunderbolts too. So they really milk the shit out of him when it comes to villains. But yeah, like I said, really interesting. I've always really looked forward to reading this just because like Hawkeye, I've read a lot of Hawkeye stuff and you know, obviously him being the leader of the West Coast Avengers really gives us a lot of chances to see Hawkeye in a different light. One thing I probably should have read before I read this was the Hawkeye miniseries, which they do reference in the footnotes of the miniseries. So I'll have to go back and maybe try to reread that because I did buy one of the Epic collections for Hawkeye. I can't remember. I think it's down there somewhere. But I'll have to read that at some point because that has some stuff in there that may be relevant. Like I said, I don't think it's crucial to understand what's going on. Obviously, I don't think anything really is that crucial in the 70s, 80s, 90s to really like understand what's going on. It's more so like modern day that's kind of required. But yeah, really enjoyed that. Like I said, I'm making my way through to that, so hopefully I can finish that run here soon. It's just crazy because right now I'm kind of reading like 3 thick omnibus worth of stuff, so it's like, kind of just trying to lighten the load a little bit with some smaller books. But anyways, 20-minute intro aside, that is what I've been reading so far this month. So I'll cut it here and then we'll come back for the actual haul. So stay tuned for that. All right, guys. So thank you so much for tuning back into the haul. So we'll actually get into the haul this time. So yeah, don't have too much comics wise to show you here today. I will say, like I said, I've been kind of I haven't been purchasing a lot this month, obviously because of Christmas, right? So just trying to save money for gifts for other people, and then also, as I mentioned before, right? I don't want to go buying stuff that I have on my wish list or something because, my wife always says she's like, this is the time of year where you're supposed to, just put stuff on your list and let people get stuff for you for Christmas and not buy everything yourself. And I have tried my best to do that. I definitely don't. I definitely have cut back. And again, with having these like online stuff, it doesn't really give me that like FOMO to go out and buy stuff as much anymore, which is good, I guess. So anyways, we'll go ahead and get into the hauls here. So the first book I actually got here is actually not a comic book, but I put it in here anyway because I don't want to create a whole separate section for this. So story time with this, where I got this, and then some other stuff I'll show here. I went down to Cartersville, Georgia, earlier this month for work. So on my way back from that trip, after I left the plant and before I got to the airport, I had a little bit of time to kill, so I stopped and got lunch. And then after lunch, I stopped at a Second and Charles nearby and found some stuff. And sure enough, I found this. This was a really great deal. Picked up another Star Wars novel. This one is Leia. So I remember when this first came out. This came out in 2017 because, as you can see here, this is trying to tie into Last Jedi, but obviously this is a story based, in the time of, let's see here. like this is based in the timeline of like the original trilogy, but obviously they were using this to promote the new movie. Um, but yeah, I remember seeing this on the shelf at Target, and like I just did not. Back then, I was very much into just reading comics. Like I had no interest in buying um, uh, books at all, so I kind of passed on it back then. Um, but sure enough, found this book for $6, which you really can't beat that for a nice hardcover. This goes originally for 18. Um, I may have mentioned this on my last haul video, but I did get a library card that allows me to download like books digitally to read. So I did check that app before I bought this to see if this was on here that I could save for later and read. Unfortunately, this book wasn't on there, so that's why I picked it up. But nonetheless, $6 for this I think is a really good deal. So really excited to hopefully read this soon. Like I said, I'm currently reading Darth Plagueis, which is essentially the story of how Darth Plagueis came to power and Palpatine and stuff like that. So that's a Legends book that I'm looking to slowly get through here, which I need to probably pick back up on reading that. I want to try to get like a chapter done a day, but we'll see how much I succeed at that. I'm like 15% through the book, so slowly but surely we'll get there. I'm also reading, I didn't mention this on my what I've been reading, but I am reading the Star Wars Omnibus, so I'll talk about that in my next haul video. But yeah, so really hyped to get that for a decent price. And then the next chunk of books here I got was something that I was looking to add to my read through for next year. Excuse me, as if I don't have enough stuff to read. But I know recently we just got the first like trailer or like sneak peek of Supergirl. So obviously the thumbnail of this video kind of gave it away, but I ended up picking the entire Supergirl Rebirth series up at the Second and Charles I went to. Got each of these volumes for like $8, which you honestly can't beat that, right? So, and this is the whole series. So I just confirmed when I was looking at it, you know, it's a 20 issue series. I think there's a annual sprinkled in here. Yeah. Yeah, and there's another Batgirl annual in here. There's Supergirl Rebirth #1. So, you know, overall, probably about like 24 issues worth of stuff in here. So we'll go through all these. This is volume 1. This has Supergirl Rebirth #1 and issues 1 through 6 of the show, or of the comic. So yeah, this looks pretty interesting. Like I said, I'm really excited to read this. I don't have a lot of Supergirl stuff in my collection. I mean, this is pretty much it, plus that graphic novel I found like a couple months ago when I was in New York. So nothing too crazy going on there. Here's volume 2. So this has issues 7 through 11 and Batgirl Annual #1. So you can see here what the back looks like. And here's some stuff in the middle here. So like I said, you know, I think this will be a very quick read to add to my read through for next year. Like, so once we get closer to the Supergirl release, I'll definitely pick these up, add these to the pile, and give them a quick read. Here's volume 3. This has issues 12 through 14 and then annual #1. So definitely the smallest of them, and I think this one explains why this one's a little bit cheaper. Got this volume for about $7, so really can't beat that there. So there's the back for that. And then the last one here, and like I said, I do like that like DC puts such a good description on the back where they say like this series comes to its conclusion in these compelling stories from Supergirl. So I like, that's a very nice way for me to be like, okay, that's it. That's all I need to collect for this, and that's the end. So this collects issues 15 through 20. So, you know, this run, I guess, had a year and a half of releases, and then it got canceled. So, you know, not too big of a chunk to read. I don't know how good it's going to be, but, you know, we'll give it a shot, and you know, we'll see. I'm not too crazy. I'm not too like adamant about reading like every Supergirl book that's ever come out. Like, you know, we'll see. Like, we'll see how I feel about after reading this. If I want to explore other runs, but I'm not too, I have so much else to read right now that it's like, I don't want to keep adding to the pile if I don't have to, you know. And then lastly here, this book I got from Amazon, and I bought it because it was actually on a really good sale. Original cover price for this book was $75, and I got this for like, I think $32, which was over half off. I'm pretty sure this book has stayed at that price for a little bit, and it just never crossed my mind to get it. And that is the Batman and Robin Adventures omnibus here. So this collects issues 1 through 25 of the series, and then it has the annuals numbers 1 to 2, and then it has Batman Adventures The Lost Years numbers 1 through 5, and the Batman and Robin Adventures Sub-Zero 1. So, you know, in terms of page count, this one's not as big as like other omnibus, right? You can kind of see what I'm talking about here. But regardless, this is based off of, you know, the TV show. So, you know, really great creators on here. You have Ty Templeton, Paul Dini, Hilary Bader, Rich Burkett. Sorry if I mispronounced that. But yeah, this goes pretty well, I think, with like, I think there's another omnibus that is like the Batman Adventures or Batman the Animated Series omnibus, something like that, like, which actually collects like the proper Batman series as well. All kind of in that same art style as the TV show from the I think the late 90s, early 2000s era. So hopefully one day I can read that stuff too, but I was able to pick this up for a really decent price. You know, if you get an omnibus for $30, I mean, that's less than $1 an issue. I think that's a really good deal. So ended up just grabbing that one. You know, like I said, just kind of a impulse buy. Yeah, kind of, I had enough stuff for free shipping on an order, so I just kind of tossed that on there. I know it's not like really just something you just toss onto an order, right? It's not like a $5 purchase, but I thought it was cheap enough where I'm like, okay, that's not too bad, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much all my books I've been collecting. I've collected so far since the last haul video, so not much, right? But just some stuff I'm really looking forward to reading and adding to the pile. So yeah, that is the comics. So let's go ahead and get into the Lego section here as well. All right, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in to this section here, which is the Lego section. So I will say this one is definitely going to be more exciting than the last haul where I showed only one poly bag. But yeah, this stuff is really great. So cashed in on some really great sales and deals around Black Friday time-ish time, and then slightly thereafter as well. But yeah, I'll kind of talk about where I got all these. But yeah, this is kind of my last push for sets. Some of these I picked up because they are retiring at the end of this year, so I wanted to make sure I got those. That was really my priority. Like, there were some other sets that I was thinking about getting, but I'm like, you know what? They're not retiring until next year. I'm not gonna go out and buy them now. I'm gonna wait, maybe see if I can get them for an even better sale in 2026, because, you know, obviously with the way this stuff works, right, they gotta eventually push out some of the older sets, and that means they'll get even deeper discounts like the ones I'm going to show you here. So so yeah, we'll kind of go through it here. So the smallest that I got here, again, put this one onto an order, but I got this for about, I think, $9 or $10, and that is the Plo Koon's Starfighter. So original price on this was $15, which is kind of insane for a microfighter, but wanted to get this just for that new mold of Plo Koon. And I've been seeing some stuff online that, like, if you take this plus like a Creator 3-in-1 like plane set and then like Jedi Bob Starfighter, you can actually create like a full scale like Plo Koon Starfighter. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know if I will actually end up doing that, because I want to hold out and maybe hope that Lego will give us a full scale Plo Koon Starfighter. I think we're kind of overdue for one at this point. I think the last one that was released was like 2011. So yeah, really excited to see what this new mold looks like, and we'll give this a build at some point here. Now that I'm doing this haul video, I can actually put these in the queue to build and display. So that's obviously I'm not going to display this. This is too small of a set to display, but yeah, nice to have that build. And then you get the top of the droid as well, so that's cool. All right, next that I bought here was from Kohl's. I had $10 of Kohl's cash from a prior purchase we made at Kohl's, so the vicious cycle begins. So this one I got because this battle pack being $23 was really expensive. And it's crazy because that's not even as expensive as what the battle packs cost now, which are now up to $40. So this one I got for actually, I think after the $10 off, it was like $13. So I thought that was a much better price to pay for this. And that is the Death Trooper and Night Trooper battle pack. So this is from the Ahsoka show. Has a very similar like drop ship design as what we saw in like the Rebel and Imperial battle pack. But yeah, I really just bought this for the minifigures. I don't plan to buy more than one of these. Just because like these troopers I don't really have much of an interest in. I don't think they're gonna really do well in the resale market. But yeah, really cool to get these, and looking forward to getting this a build. Like I said, the fact that this is $23 is just insane to me. I mean, 119 pieces, 4 minifigures for $23, like, and even like it's funny because like the new one, like the 327th Legion, I think it is. The one that was $40, it's like already getting discounted to like $35 because nobody's paying full price for that. And I definitely think by year's end it's going to drop even more on sale, like, and stay there because people aren't willing to spend that much money on a battle pack. So there's that. But yeah, really excited to get that. Like I said, I had the $10 of Kohl's cash. Didn't really see anything else I had to get at the time, so I ended up picking that up for $10 off. So thought that was a really good usage of that coupon. Next one I got here was one of, I think, 2 sets. Yeah, I think there's just 2 sets I got from Lego.com. So story time on Lego.com. I did stay up to wait for the Black Friday sale because I knew about it, that they were dropping a bunch of sets on sale on Black Friday. Waited up, and sure enough, the website crashed. Website was in a queue. I was not gonna wait up on Black Friday to get a couple of sets, so I went to sleep. Woke up the next morning, saw what was left. It really got pillaged through. The list of sets that were supposed to get discounted and what was left was very slim pickings. But you know, at the end of the day, a lot of the stuff that I saw on that list was not stuff that I really wanted to have. Like, you know, everything I kind of wanted was I already either had or, you know, was waiting. Like I said, wasn't going to retire, so I wasn't really in a rush to get it. But this one I did get because, like I always say, brickheads, if you wait, you will most likely always get them on some type of sale. I did that with the Revenge of the Sith brickhead collection. Other ones in the past I've gotten for discounts, and sure enough, this one came out, I'm pretty sure, only a couple months ago, and it was already on like a 30% off sale. And that is the dual pack of Elphaba and Glinda brickheads, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know if I'm not sure. I thought I saw somewhere that this is retiring at the end of this year, which would be insane to me because it just came out. Like, that would be such a short lifespan. Like, I'm pretty sure this is probably gonna be on the shelves for another year. But the fact that it got discounted so quickly, like, tells me that maybe that's not the case. But anyways, wanted to get this because my wife and I are huge Wicked fans. We recently saw the new movie. We're gonna go see it again at some point. But really excited to see that we got the brickheads this year. Lego really stepped up their game with Wicked Lego sets this year. Like last year with the first movie, I think Lego and Wicked as a whole like didn't really know what to expect with that movie. So like they gave us a bunch of like kind of like doll sets, like more for little kids. But this year we got like this one, we got like the two bookend, we got the bookend sets, we got the Emerald City like wall art set, which I really want to get. Probably gonna wait for a sale to pick that one up because that set looks really cool. I think that would look really cool on a wall. And also the minifigs in that set are fire. But yeah, for right now, I'm happy with getting this for $14 compared to $20. And this will be nice to put next to my other Wicked set that I have downstairs. I don't have a big collection of them, obviously, but really excited to get this. There's another set that they also have that's like cheaper, and it has like the dolls, but like it also has like miniaturized like cities of like the Emerald City, and then I think it's Kai Como, like the hideout that that Elphaba goes into when she's in the movie, right? Like during the Wizard of Oz. So I may pick that one up. I think right now it's like $70. I think I'm gonna wait for a sale for that one, but I would just be buying it more so for the display factor of like having the little miniaturized like display pieces, because that's kind of like what it looks like. It's kind of like the mini scale versions of like the Disney Castle and stuff like that. Like that's kind of what I think that's trying to target towards. So I'll wait next year and see if I can get a sale for that. Otherwise, I'm not in a huge rush to pick that one up. But yeah, ended up getting that one. And then the other set I got was this one here. So I think in all intents and purposes, I think the diorama subline for Lego Star Wars may be dead. I don't know if they're bringing them back. But I wanted to make sure I got them all. And this one, I was so back and forth on this set, like whether I should get it, whether I should not get it. Like I was not picking it up. Like that, even when it was down to like $40, I was still not adamant about getting it. And sure enough, I waited, and I got this for, I want to say I paid like maybe $30 for this, like $32 or something for this. And that is the Mos Espa Pod Race, which I think $32 for this is actually a really like a fair deal for what it is, because you get no minifigures, you get two kind of polybag-esque builds, and then you get like this like canyon and the display piece, right? So I thought, like this one very much matches up with like the Death Star trench run that we got a couple years back. But that one is a lot more iconic. It's a lot more iconic scene. This one, I mean, I thought this one was pretty nice. Was it worth $70? No, definitely not. For no minifigures, I think this should have easily been like a $50, max $60 set. But like I said, I waited and waited and waited. This one's retiring at the end of this year. And sure enough, I got this for 30 like some bucks. And looking at this now, I don't understand why they put the 25 years of Star Wars on here instead of the anniversary brick for episode 1, because they were doing both at the same time. It just, things like that with Lego just make me scratch my head. Like, cause like, yeah, like even this right here, like I don't know why they didn't make a brick for that. That would have been would have made way more sense than putting 25 years of Star Wars on there. But anyways, we'll give this a build. Probably looking to build one of these sets maybe today, but we'll see. I think that one might be a candidate because I could just build that and put that on a shelf somewhere. Very easy transferable process. But yeah, that was that. This next one I bought was from Walmart.com. Again, this was a crazy overpriced set. No minifigures for this set either. It was $80, and I'm like, that's wild to me. And I never spent that money on this because I'm like, $80 for this is so insane. And then it went on like a 20% off sale, and I think it was like 50. So what's 20% off of 80? That's $56. No, 50. Yeah. No, I'm sorry, $64. Sorry, my math is my brain is not working today. Yeah, so that it was like $64, like floating around that price kind of online. I'm like, that's still really overpriced. Sure enough, Black Friday sales, or I think this was Cyber Monday. I can't remember which one it was, but this went down to $40, half off. And I'm like, yes, that's a good price for me. Let me pick that up. And that is the Helicarrier. So obviously I don't have like the $350 like UCS Helicarrier that came out in like, I want to say 2013, 2014. That one is really dope. Like I've seen that like in some people's collections, and I think that's really cool online. But this one is the poor man's version of it. um, but this is really cool. Like I said, this is a very iconic ship from the MCU. You know, really nice little details here. You have like a Quinjet. You have some other like little ships and stuff, and some characters. I want to say that's supposed to be like Steve Rogers and like Black Widow, like when they're standing on like when they're standing on the ship in the first movie. I could be wrong, but um, yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that the set will explain like what these little tiles are supposed to be. Um, but yeah, this is really cool. I'm looking forward to building this. Again, this will be a nice set piece to put here in my collection. This won't take up a lot of space, so I'm sure I'll be able to find a place for it. But yeah, really cool to get that. And like I said, $40 for this is a very, very fair price compared to the $80 that they were willing to charge for 509 pieces. Like, it's just wild to me. I'm like, you know, 509 pieces for $80, like you can't throw in like a minifigure for that. Like like Lego sometimes has just been so like I said, they're very close to pricing me out of the hobby. Like if it wasn't for these sales, I wouldn't be buying these sets. Like if that was $80 until the day it retired, I would not buy it. Like I can't bring myself to spend that much money on a set that has no minifigures and it's like 500 pieces, right? Like come on. Do better, Lego. All right. Last set here. This was the one that I was really looking forward to getting. I saw it go on some sales, and I just waited and waited and waited. And sure enough, I got this for like $55, which was almost half off of what it originally was selling for, which was $100, which again, insane price for this. Like, now granted, this one has a little bit better story to a case to make for it because it has a lot of good minifigures in it. But that set is the Avengers Assemble Age of Ultron scene. So again, 613 pieces for $100 is wild to me. This should have been 70 at the most, maybe. You know, you get Thor, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, 3 Hydra Troopers. Wow, so generous, Lego. Thank you for the 3 Hydra Troopers. But yeah, I just, you know, I was not willing to, like, all these, like, diorama sets that or all these, like, action scene sets that I've gotten in the past, like the Endgame one with all the female Avengers fighting Thanos, and then, like, the fight from No Way Home on the Statue of Liberty. I waited for those. I got, like, that Avengers one I got for, like, $60 off of Facebook Marketplace. So, like, this one was retiring at the end of this year, so I wanted to get it, but I was trying to be really patient for a good price on this. Like, I saw it dip down originally down to like 75, and I'm like, that's still too high for me. I saw it dip to like 65, and I'm like, no. And then sure enough, I woke up. I think it was actually Thanksgiving Day. I actually woke up. I actually was looking on my phone, and I saw this dip down to 55, or I saw a Facebook post about it. And then I ran over and got it. And sure enough, I'm glad I did because I'm pretty sure it's sold out now. And it's obviously retiring at the end of this year. So, but yeah, this is going to be fun to build. The real question is where am I going to put it? Because my glass display piece that has like the other display sets is kind of full right now. So I'm going to have to find another place to put this. So we'll see. But really cool to get all these characters. I'll have to go back and look, but I don't know if any of these are really exclusive to this set. I think all of these may be retreads of older ones. I could be wrong. But anyways, really good to get this. I really love that scene from that movie when like they're all like, you know, it's kind of like the homage to the first one where they're all in that circle. In the beginning of the movie, they're all kind of like jumping through the snow, and you can see all of them flying through the air. So that's kind of what this is supposed to imitate. So you can kind of see here how that's set up. So pretty iconic scene in my opinion. I know a lot of people shit on Age of Ultron, but I actually kind of like that movie. Like I would rewatch that before some of the other MCU films. Like, so that's just me, um but yeah, that is my Lego haul. So 17 minutes later on that, that's what I've been purchasing here. So we'll give those things a build, and we'll go from there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and close out this video. All right, guys. So thank you so much for watching this video. So as I mentioned, a lot of good stuff. Obviously, I'm off for the next week or so. So I'm probably definitely going to try to get a lot of this stuff built. I still have to build the Tuxedo Cat. I think I'm going to prioritize that just because it's a big build, and like nothing's better to me than like sitting inside on a nice cold winter day and building a Lego set and watching some football or whatever. So I'll probably do that. But anyways, a lot of good stuff to add to the queue here. And yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. So again, please make sure to consider liking, commenting, and subscribing for more of this content. As I mentioned, I do haul videos like this all the time. I have a whole playlist of these videos to go back and look at. So definitely check those out. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great holiday season, whatever you celebrate. And I will see you guys on the flip side. Peace.